Why are you so mean to me? Why are you so mean to me? I was sniffling. Leave me alone. What the fuck? Scared the shit out of me. You're welcome. You're welcome. The music's suddenly getting loud.
Making a mother of all
Cause you slumpy. Gross. Gross. Damn you are dang. Damn, chat can't handle the audio changes. Yeah. I mean, even then, like, how high do y'all have it? Did you turn it up to hear the music? Thinking I'd like fucked up the audio? I mean, I can do it again. We can just click right up here and just. I usually drag it instead because I know how shocking, like, drastic audio changes can be. I should be lurking. Have fun. Well, thank you, Void. Thank you for hanging out. But welcome in, chat. Do we want to play Resident Evil? Do we want to go finally Raccoon City again? Do we got to spam these at the start? Not well timed. You do in fact have to spam the metal emotes. That is legally obligated. It's in the contract. It's in the subcontract. You have no say in the matter. 20 squats. I choose to ignore that. As the supreme leader of the Dark Carnival, I choose to ignore it. Huh. Huh. Well then. Also, there's 2 jackets. There we go. Now there's 1 jacket. Ever spent 100 channel points before? Do you mean 100 or do you mean like 100K? There's a difference. I mean, Sunstar like never said anything in chat until he redeemed, I think at the time was a 100K VIP redeem. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. 100K, I mean, yeah. Yeah, quite often. Oh no, they're used to. Sunstar did it like first couple months of streaming. First couple months, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. There was years ago, but then I started making friends and I'd rather have my friends have the VIP most of the time. Oh, was it the Join the Carnival? Oh, I guess it was. I thought I had a VIP redeem at one point. Anyway, you ever just womp? Yes, yes. But I do on very strong occasions just go womp. I could redeem spam mode 5 times, almost 6. How much is spam mode? Oh, it is 100K. Okay. And then there's the show off one that's also 100K that does literally nothing. VIP was a 50 gift sub. Okay, that's what it was. Yeah. Only 5 times? Not the pointing and laughing. You're so mean. That's fine. That's fine. Be mean. It's fun. It's sometimes fun to be mean. But not in petty ways. You gotta be mean in smart ways. You gotta make a person feel bad. I did the show off for the secret carnival achievement that only cool carnies know about. True. You do get a secret achievement. You get a special little plaque too. I mail it right to your door. Oh wait, I can't say that? I can't say that because we don't actually do it? Oh, okay, chat. Lawyer said I can't say that shit. Lawyer said I can't say that. I mean, obviously I know where everybody lives. It's part of the deal of coming to the carnival. Again, are y'all not reading the text within the text? Do I need to get y'all a magnifying glass or something? To be jerks to each other? Apparently. I was banking on the plaque you expect us to read? Listen, I can hope, okay? I can hope. There was subtext I needed to read? Of course there was subtext. There's always subtext. It's okay. It doesn't matter that we just absolutely didn't just unroll it in front of your eyes and then scrunch it back up immediately after. Ignore that part. Well, yeah, you're British. Doesn't every British person know where every other British person lives? Isn't that the case? Isn't it almost like every house actually have like some fancy schmancy name? The number of times I've watched like a British documentary and they always talk about like certain buildings that like, it'll be like a serial killer or some shit. And they'll be talking about like the houses that the serial killer previously lived in, and they'll be like, "Oh, this is the Tipton Manor. Everybody knows the Tipton Manor." And it's like, am I supposed to know the Tipton Manor? Does everybody actually know what the Tipton Manor is? Oh, and then 5 years later, he moved over to the Billabong the cottage. Ah, yes, the Billabong cottage. Everybody knows what that is. Since there's British infamous kill people. The infamous kill people loft. Everybody knows that. Every British person lives in British land. Yes, British. Chippy. Oh no. Oh no. But married, you're not British? That's true. That's true. I just had to think of just some random fucking word. Weirdly enough, I think Billabong is like Australia? I want to say there's something to do with Australia that's Billabong. Is it a beach? Is it a reserve? I don't remember. I think there's something Billabong in Australia. Everyone also knows the most murderous places to live in are quaint English villages. Have you seen BBC? You're probably right. I mean, I feel like I would trust a English village in the middle of nowhere less than I would trust like a British, not a British, a Brazilian, what are they called? Favela? Is that, yeah, favela is the word I'm looking for. I trust Brazilian favelas more than I trust any English countryside village. Netherlands, you heathen? Ah, yes. The Danes. Or Dane's gonna fucking kill me. Chat, you gotta hold him back. You gotta hold him back for me. Commonwealth's calling fries chips still? You're higher, Dane. Hi. How are you doing? Can I help you? Also, chat, does anybody want highs today? Do you want to be noticed? It is time to be noticed. Stand forward and be noticed. Get over here. You'll never take me. You'll never take me. No, it's two eyes. Light. Hi, pray. Sunstar just staring. Here you go, cute Chunkala. Chunkla? Is that supposed to be Chunkla? But that says Chunkala. Emote? I don't see the Chunkla emote. Ordain's got a knife. Ordain almost always has a knife. Over here like it's my country. Yep. Hi, Lurican. How are you doing? You did nothing to service. I just want you to know beforehand. What does that mean? Where's my browser? All right, hold on, chat. Okay. So chat, I don't know if y'all saw my other post I made like 45 minutes ago or so. I bought a giant dragon fruit. I bought a giant dragon fruit because I guess they're in season and my grocery store had a whole oh my god, it's gonna be Chef's Club. Oh no. Fuck. Okay. Okay, we'll move over for Chef's Club. Excuse me. Wait a second, what is this? Okay. Chef's Club. I already see something heinous. What the fuck was that? Where did it go? Okay, no, maybe that was one of their most popular videos. Let's do Big Bites Breakfast. Yeah, we'll do Big Bites Breakfast. Oh, there you go. There's the chocolate emote. Now I can see it. Also, I'm signed into the wrong account. Why are you like this? Also, wait, you can put emotes in titles? That's kind of weird. All right, chat, give me just a second so that we don't like cause confusion. I'm going to open the Resident Evil game. Hope my PC doesn't explode. Oh my god, I don't think I've done a... Oh, fuck. It should be fine. It should be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be totally fine. Fuck. I hope it'll be fine. I meant to do a... Okay. Okay. It's certainly interesting to see how many games are... Change camera. Recommended to use first-person perspective when playing as Grace. Enhance horror elements to use third-person perspectives when playing Leon. Leave don't change for now. Enter age? Okay, fine. Yes. It's so weird that I had to do that. Also, I'm sorry I can't see you right now, chat, because the game opened in like full screen and I can't move it to the other monitor. Oh boy, compiling shaders. Let's see if it crashes. Nobody move! I better see all holding whenever I can eventually see chat again. I better see all holding when I eventually see chat again. Don't crash the GPU. Don't crash the GPU. Don't crash the GPU. Oh my god, it is taking forever. It is taking forever. Low, damn you! So I can go ahead and fucking set your like maximum fucking prioritize performance. Sure. Measuring PC's performance. Okay, let me go change this shit. Graphics. What is on borderless window? There we go. Okay, now I can see chat. Holding. Okay, I'm proud of y'all. Why are you looking at zombie tits? What? Holding moves and you need to not move? True. Let's probably see Leon's boobs. I totally didn't download the butt naked Leon mod. Shut up. Shut up. Let me also do this. Do that. We'll go over to the full screen page. I'm not gonna move though because I'm a sucker. Naked Leon! We're gonna to move, but wants us to do the moving emote like holding instead of a still emote like hold. Also, I have your hi ghost. How are you doing? All right, let me see here real quick. Image. Frame rate variable, no. Up to 60. Motion blur, please turn that shit off. Do I dare? No, do not do that. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to turn these on. IMAX, upscaling. Ooh, you know what? Sure. I actually do want this game to look good. So, frame generation. No. My mouse froze. My mouse froze. I can't move. I turned it off and the game froze. Shit. Squats? No. Leon S. necketing? No. No, Bob. I don't think I will. I think I need the Alt F4. I think I need the alt F for the game. Uh-oh. Oh. Okay, there's my mouse. The task manager. Kill the game. Kill the game. Pillow method, pillow method! Okay. Do it again. Your settings should be set to being on the other monitor, so at which point are you gonna move? Checking for add-ons. Compiling shaders! Ah! God damn it. And it's on the wrong monitor. And now I can't see chat again, which who knows what they're up to. Okay. Wait a second. Oh, I know, that's right. Okay. Also, I'm sorry if you can hear that laundry machine. I'm very sorry if you can hear that laundry machine. Now I can see y'all again. Steal chat? Are you gonna just run away with chat? How do you do that? I'm feeding the mons. What? Aim assist. I don't need aim assist. Mama ain't raised no bitch. Okay. Did it actually save it though? Go back here, go back here. Okay. What the hell do you mean? I forget how the exclamation secret chats are supposed to work. And I think it only works by not showing up in the chat window, but I can still see you, you fucking dinguses. Okay, no, I also need to turn that down. 100%. Hard tack. Yeah, we're gonna leave it at 60. These we will leave for now and see how the viewing experience is. I am a little what are bonuses, I wonder? Models? Yeah, we don't have any models. Damn it. Damn it. All right, chat. Now, all I did was open this to tease you because now we got to go watch Chef's Club. Aren't you excited, chat? Aren't you excited? Isn't that such great news? Because now we have to suffer. Now we have to suffer together. Welcome to hell, kids. All right, boys. Oh, fuck, it's just music. Never mind. Shut the hell up. Okay. Actually, I'll turn it down. Way down. Just so that's tucked under the music. Way lower. Why are you making a pancake on a tortilla? Listen, I can respect the making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon, put it in a pancake. But why the fuck are you using a tortilla? What is the tortilla for? We've got two kinds of bread here, basically. Okay, I am more impressed at how hot that griddle is to have already cooked that pancake. Okay, what's the point of putting more bacon on? He's making a burrito, isn't he? He's gonna make a burrito out of this thing. Okay, no, maybe it's not a burrito. That's not maple syrup there, buddy. That's not maple syrup there. And then, of course, fucking cheddar. What is up with, the go-to cheese for these things being cheddar? It's a crunch wrap. Is he making oh my God, he's making a breakfast crunch wrap. Oh my God, he's making a breakfast crunch wrap. All right, buddy, let's see if you can do it. See if you can fucking flip the egg. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay. It's not totally done yet, but okay. And there's the rest of the tortilla. I don't like this. I know some people were obsessed with like Taco Bell's breakfast crunch wrap. I never had it. And I never really had any interest in having the Taco Bell breakfast stuff. And the pancake broke. The thing is that he's fucking up what's the point of a crunch wrap. Chat, what is the main purpose of a crunch wrap? What's the main reason that they make the form of a crunch wrap a thing? Yes, to be hand food. And this man just put syrup all over it. Cholesterol? I mean, that is one of the reasons. You are very correct in that reasoning. This is more frightening than any Resident Evil monster. I don't know. Some of the ones in this game are pretty scary. Again, though, why cheddar, my guy? Do a softer cheese. Do mozzarella or something. I feel like mozzarella would have been a better cheese to put in here. Okay, we have more bacon. We have a sausage on a stick for some reason. And then I missed what the other thing was. Was he pouring pancake batter? Wait a second. Only reason one doesn't exist is it's not like Marin would ever see it. Otherwise, I'd just be another channel or have message history disabled so it's secret for all of us. What are you talking about? Are you talking about Sunstar Live? Have y'all not been watching the late night talk show with Sunstar? Waka cheese? Yes, that's also another one. That's another good one. I was actually just thinking about, I was like, what's that one Mexican cheese? There's that one like really soft Mexican cheese that I think could also fit in there. Oh my god, this mother... Oh, wait, that's a block of cheddar, my dude. Burrata tacos? I think it's good on any kind of like... Really any kind of Mexican food that uses cheese over cheddar. God forbid, fuck cheddar, dude. Cheese dip? Ugh. That's so much sausage in one thing. Are you making another crunch wrap? And then, of course, fucking scrambled eggs cooked over hard. Okay, the bacon looks weirdly candied. That is so much tortilla overlap, dude. That is overlap. Oh, you didn't even tuck in the other side. No! You're supposed to tuck it in like it's one of those box lids. It's a breakfast burger? It's not even a breakfast burger. It's two whole ass sausages. Whole ass sausages, my dude. Oh boy, they broke out the jarred salsa just for us. Okay, but why butter? What does the butter add to this? Did you not scramble the eggs with butter? It's a good way to make really good scrambled eggs, chat. You can also do it with some cream. Throw some cream into your scrambled eggs. Again, that does not look good at all. That is too much sausage for what's supposed to be like a breakfast thing. Whole pancakes. I hate this. Okay, world's largest super flapjacks. They're making... Why? Why are you using mac and cheese? Also, why do you have the world's longest macaroni noodle? That motherfucker's as long as my finger. What the hell is that? I hate this. 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 Do not dare blaspheme against the importance of butter. Okay, garlic butter, sure, but we've lost the plot of breakfast. And then Skippy peanut butter. I can see the label. That's fucking Skippy. This mix of flavors does not sound enticing anymore. And then preserves. Sir, that's not jam. Those are preserves. Color me mildly surprised that they don't know the difference between jam and preserves. Okay, so you've made a peanut butter and jelly pancake cake wrapped in bacon with mac and cheese in the middle of it. Guys, what do kids like? Kids really like mac and cheese and PB&Js, don't they? What if we did it for a breakfast episode, but we turned it into one giant cake? Again, though, the pancakes in there are already cooked. I do not exactly know why you're covering things. And basically everything in there except for the bacon was already cooked. So I'm half expecting the pancakes to be like, okay, the bacon's barely cooked. That bitch went in there for like 10 minutes at most. Oh God, of course they had custom fucking baking sheets.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
The clips are walled of chicken, probably. Listen, it's fine. Yeah, that's the only way that you can describe Chef's Club. That's the only way to describe Chef's Club. It is a content creator's way to waste food. Oh, and it's going back in the oven? Okay, how dry are those fucking pancakes about to be? Mac and cheese bust. Oh my, why? Again, you made a peanut butter and jelly and mac and cheese, and now you're still trying to pretend that this is supposed to be breakfast? What is that? 8 eggs? All right, cut it. Cut it and show me you taking a bite. Chef's Club, we hate food, apparently. My guy, did you really need a guide? Did you really need to use the fucking trowel as a fucking guide? Go ahead, eat it. And more syrup, of course. Soaking the pancakes in syrup wasn't enough. Okay, that was the end. It was only 2 things. Okay. Injected with a T virus next. Oh no. Oh no. To sear and bake again, cooking 101, butter buffalo garlic chicken pizza. What the fuck? Huh. Okay. Let's put this away. But we don't have to look at it again. Wait, hold on. Why do I have a notification on YouTube? Why are you notifying me, YouTube? Let me eat that sushi. No, Ordained, you're not allowed to eat the sushi. Damn it. No, you can't eat the sushi. We're using that sushi to play a game. All right, sorry. I saw a short I wanted to see, and I was just hovering it to see it. Could go for some shakshuka. What is that again? The name sounds familiar, but I can't picture it. Shakshuka. Oh, it's the tomato egg dish. Okay. Do you have an official VOD channel? Yes, I do have an official VOD channel. I think it's, let me double check the tag for it real quick. I want to say it's Mare and Go Vods. And it's like title is like Dark Carnival Video Archives. Let me see. Yeah, it's Dark Carnival Archives, but the tag is at Mare and Go Vods. Yeah. Yeah. Wouldn't that be a slippery slope? And it's just for that category. So no harm, no foul. Wait, which part? Oh yeah, it says it's from Africa and the Middle East, apparently. Which I'm not all that surprised. All right. Game or keep chatting with chat. All right, chat, how you doing? How are you doing, chat? Can I has my Leon? Okay, you went to Leon? Damn, going to the official incomplete. I'm gonna strangle you, Sunstar. And I'm not sure when I'm gonna stop. So I hope you have an alternative to breathing. I'm doing hungry? You're doing hungry? Have you considered lunch? Always getting beaten in every stream? Well, yeah, it's because Sunstar tries to poke me with a sharpened stick. And forgets that I bring, let me see here. I bring good old lefty and righty. Strangle redeem win? I'm not going to make it a redeem. It would never be a redeem. You'll already have control of the eyes. If you're hungry or sick, yes. Yes. Hey, I only do that sometimes. The rest is on you. Yeah, the fingers are weirdly long. I'm stuck at home sick from work. I like my job, but I just got some tickets to an event next weekend, so mixed bag day. Hope your day is rad as fuck. Everyone, I went to the gym and I went to the grocery store, and now I'm here to play Resident Evil. And I'm probably gonna get the shit scared out of me because I've already seen some of the monsters in this game, and I'm scared of them. Strangler Deep not trying to send UK viewers to jail now? Schmo? Maybe I am. All right, where's the other UK viewers? Where are the rest of the UK viewers? Sign off. I need ones in chat. How many of them are there? How many British people can we have expose themselves? We need a Schmo redeem? Maybe. 6 to 7? Somebody shoot Bob. 2 because American? I mean, I'm American. I speak English. But that doesn't mean much of anything. Bob, that's banned. No, Smo redeem. British people exposing themselves strip? What is up with you and wanting to strip recently, Sunstar? Are you having a hard time keeping your pants on? Bob? What did you just do? What have you done? What did that last messenger just say? Just like losing the game? Losing the game? Bob. My sweet, sweet Bob. How much do you like lead? Roberts. Robinson. Good old Robbie boy. Bobby, my guy. Bobbert. Lead is going up in the stock market? I like lead paint. Well, yeah, because fucking regulations are going out the window. Who's ready to have lead back in our gasoline? All right, you're going in the flesh furnace. You're going in the flesh furnace, Bomb. I could have flashed the "you're a whore" clip. If you say so. Gotta feed Bob the lead? Oh no. Oh no. All right. Oh goodness. Y'all probably heard that. The microphone is really sensitive. I'm wondering if I need to go mess with the settings again, because I re-listened to some of the stuff and it sounds like I'm like way too close to y'all. Way too close. Maybe I need to just push the microphone away. Is this better? Add a counter to the Marin burp? No! Do not start counting my burps. And if I show up in like fucking VTuber burps or some shit, I'm gonna strangle one of you. Oh my god. All right, chat, do we want to play the game? Do we want to play the game? You've had hiccups, and why not burp? Because my hiccups are cuter than my burps. I squeak sometimes when I hiccup. Hard tack. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a VTuber burps that's just like a VTuber, what is it? VTuber sneezes? I think it was one that existed for a while. I think. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure there was. No, that's illegal, Phaedric. That's illegal too. Just got, wait, did I? I don't feel like I did. Oh, I called my hiccups like cuter. Sniffa, sniff test. Is that what you want? Check your gut biome health. Explain. I like cute mouth noises. Connor, that's illegal, but also thank you for the sub. You're here for another month. Thank you for contributing. Snorting, just hit him with a quality content we upload to the VOD channels. What the fuck is this for the VOD channel? It's in there. It's in there in like multiple hours of fucking nonsense. Honk shoe. What the fuck do you mean smells like a hot woman? Is that how you start a conversation? You just sat down, Melissa. It's this kind of conversation starter is why so many people are single. Because you start conversations like this. Do you honk shoe or honk me? I am very much a corpse sleeper. I'm terrible at sleeping. I am a ridiculously light sleeper, which is why I rarely get like good quality sleep. So most of the time I don't ever fall like into deep enough sleep, I guess, to either start snoring or something. Sometimes though, like if I have like a pillow over my head and or like a sheet comes up towards my face and I breathe on the sheet sometimes and I'll get like that nasally sound that you get when like the airways are like split between the sheets, and sometimes that'll scare me awake. No beef, not single beef. Get wedding this weekend. The divorced dad is trying to fuck. Why? How is the divorced dad? I think you said something. Was it in Discord? I totally missed the conversation on that. How is that work? How is that happening? Clipping streams on Twitch is cool. Clipping the VODs on YouTube, less cool, but doing God's work. You can clip on YouTube? That's why I like to do cardio before bed. Heavy workout right before bed, then a shower, it knocks me right. Thing is, I have long hair, and if I take a shower just before bed like I used to, I'm just laying down with wet hair and like soaking my pillow. Marincident Evil, Shrequiem? Shrequiem? No. There's not a Shrek mod for this game already. There can't be. I mean, I've seen the one for like Resident Evil 3 remake where they like replace the fucking they replace who is it? Nemesis. Yeah, it's Nemesis in that game. They replaced Nemesis with Shrek, and every time he's on screen, you just get the fucking you get All-Star. That's what it is. You get All-Star. Okay, Puns, that's a weird thing to say. Like, I'm all for getting Girl Scout cookies because one, Girl Scout cookies are delicious. But I also have a problem with capitalism, and Girl Scout cookies are definitely just a corporation that sells cookies, utilizing free child labor in order to sell cookies. So, you know. It was in Discord. He's trying to bring the wife. He's broken up with multiple times and even almost divorced and not dressing well, make it all about himself and her. How? Listen, Beef, at this point, you probably should uninvite him. You almost certainly should uninvite him. And if you have somebody manning doors, make sure he doesn't show up. Those are already plenty of reasons for somebody to not be invited to what is essentially a party. Was said literally, I think I said it yesterday. Didn't I say it yesterday? My local Girl Scout set up outside the dispensaries. These girls know targeted marketing. That is perfect targeted marketing. It's better than sitting outside Walmart, which is what the Girl Scouts here do. They sit outside Walmart on the weekends. All right, chat. We're already 47 minutes into stream. I think we'll just yap like another whatever 13 minutes or so until the next ad break. Because then we can do the ad break, and then we'll start Resident Evil instead of like getting 10 minutes in and then having to have a commercial break. Teetering on uninviting, but I'm giving him the choice alone. If he doesn't know that's his choice, I'll just cut him out of my life. Listen, I mean, if that's where that man is willing to go, then he's a fucking bitch. A baby back bitch who doesn't deserve your attention. Or any kind of spotlight. Right outside the local game store? Ooh. Ooh. Hmm. Wait. Game store is in like card game store, or game store as in like something like GameStop? That's an important distinction. Card game? Okay. Then they know what they're doing. I mean, do you know how many people come around like most card shops, say like for Friday Night Magic, or like different, like very specific card games that are usually unique to each card shop? Yeah, I mean, like if you need to kick him out of the wedding, Beef, fucking do it. Just do it. Set up at a Texas Roadhouse recently? Really tempting the people with dessert after they leave the Texas Roadhouse. I mean, also Texas Roadhouses are usually pretty packed on the weekend. Like it's not the worst place. Was it Sunday? Be honest, was it Sunday? Did you see them on Sunday? Because I'm guessing if you're in the United States and you were at a Texas Roadhouse and it was packed and there were Girl Scouts out there, it had to be the weekend. So it had to be Saturday or Sunday. Valentine's Day? Okay. Goes to check what day of the week. Okay, it was a Saturday. That could still work. My guess was going to be they're trying to get the church crowds. Trying to get those sweet, sweet church crowds, baby. Yeah, somebody just said that they park them outside their local dispensaries. Yeah, why not? People go in, they get their special little treats, and then they get a sweet treat on the way out. Also, does anybody know how much Girl Scout cookies are right now? I remember when Girl Scout cookies were like $4. $4 a box. Please tell me they're still $4 a box. Please. Are they still $4 a box? All right, hold on. I'm getting a phone call. Oh wait, I was double muted. I double muted myself. Okay. Okay, we're good. Yeah, that was nothing. It was like one of those like charity organizations that likes to come around to like pick up any like household items. Do you have any like blankets, maybe some old coats? We'd really like to pick those up. You kind of sent those off on one of y'all's trucks like 2 months ago. 2 months ago. I gotta make the judgment call and kick my own dad out of my wedding, don't I? Yes, yes, you do. Double muted? It's fine. Listen, I just squats. All right, we gotta do 60 squats. That was me being disappointed. That was me being that was the... All right. All right. Wait. I don't think I could do squats today, chat. My thighs literally hurt so bad. Pump it up them glutes. You said squats? I don't think it was voice crack. And God, I swear to God. Can we substitute the squats for something else? Can the 3 people who went for squats earlier change it to something else? Is that gonna be Chef's Club again? No fucking way. Okay, okay, it rolled over. It's AMA. All right, so you get to ask me anything. You can ask me anything. Push-ups? Bob wants push-ups, S's. Burpees are not an option. They have to be, burpees are only on the Wheel of Punishment. Scoops of ice cream you have to eat? I don't have any ice cream. That's also counterproductive, Vapor, you fucking dork. Pull-ups? I have no way to do pull-ups. I don't have like a bar or anything. Can I ask you what tomorrow's lotto tickets will be? No. I'll take one question from the mods. I can't think of a good one. All right, Ordained, not Ordained. All right, Sunstar, you got to come up with one. Choose your own, then just make it 20. And those don't match up compared to squats. All right, we'll do this instead. Let's do core workouts because I have not been doing nearly enough. I'm on. No, you're not. You were just the first one that popped up right under S's, and I saw your name. Okay, bye, Sunstar. No, it was because I was reading S's thing, and then it moved up, and I saw Ordain's head banging. All right, hold on. We'll do core workouts instead for the 3 squats. So we're gonna do 30 of the of like bicycle crunches. All right, let's do that. Ugh. God, my legs hurt so bad. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
There's our man. There's our man. There's our boy.
20. Ah. Okay, still gotta do 10 more. Ah. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. Whew. Okay. Okay. Wi-Fi's hurt? Okay, so Monday was leg day as usual. However, this Monday, I decided to use the hack squat machine. If you don't know what it looks like, go look it up. There's only a single hack squat machine in my gym, so I don't get to use it that often. And when I do use it, that fucking machine works out parts of my thigh that I guess I just don't do. And so it kicks my ass every time. It wasn't a voice crack, sorry. Does that mean I'm gonna have to go delete that clip? I'm gonna have to go delete that clip, aren't I? Fush? Exclamation push? Exclamation push strikes again. All right, give me just a second. Set up game time. We'll do words today. Okay, yes, we're still 5 minutes away from ads. Well, I'd hate to tell you, Vapor, but anytime you click that clip button, even if you don't hit save or edit anything, it still makes a clip. It still makes a clip. Unless you just did like the slide thing. Unless you just like have the bar that like lets you go back and stream. So I don't actually know what channels, like what determines if you can do that or not. It was a slider thing? Okay, good. Because I still find some streams where you can't like rewind in a streamer's live stream. But no, hold on. What I was saying with the hack squat machine. Yeah, the hack squat machine usually kicks my ass. Because it's an alternative to, say, like leg press or regular squat or anything. But the other thing it does, and I think it's still, let me see. Yeah, it's still visible on my shoulders. For whatever reason, when I use the hack squat machine, it like crushes my shoulders to the point where I just get tons of like red dots and lines just on both of my shoulders. Like, I don't know, it looks like a rash. It really does. But it only happens when I use the hack squat machine. All the half clips I've edited, you fool. Also, I'm lagging now. Why is the model lagging? I didn't save the clip. I just used it to check back on seconds of stream. It was a slider thing? Okay. Then that's not clipping. If you click the clip button, at least it used to, it would always make a clip. Even if you didn't click save, it would just end up making a clip that was like whatever the default time length is, which I think is like 30 seconds. It would do that. And then it would also like, it would save it with just like the stream title. It would save the clip as the stream title. Oh no, I saw you say it. I was just saying it out loud. I'm not blind, Sunstar. You're becoming my biggest hassle. Are you enjoying this? Are you enjoying being the mod that bullies the streamer? You kind of have been. Chat, do I need to ignore Sunstar more? Wait, Sunstar, does editor role give me special VIP Discord privileges? No. No, it doesn't. I would have to go back and prune my missed clips on the regular. Yeah. Thing is, though, is I often delete clips that I don't think are either like that good or just random or just seem like somebody was like trying to rewind but use the clip function to do it. Most often than not, using the smug emote is not very convincing. Oh, no special beef. I gotta win my VIP status? Yeah, with the fish, which is why you have VIP right now. Oh, no, wait. Actually, you had VIP because you were a fan page. Which, who was the one that restarted their fan page? Was it you or was it... Who was the other person? I'm forgetting the other person already. Are you deleting the Glorious Sunstar clips? No. No. Yeah, fan page got you special status. Obviously. Obviously. Also, hold on a second. Okay. So I'm running a little experiment on TikTok as a side thing, chat, before we get into the commercial break. We'll see how it goes. But I'm curious to see how it'll go. Because somebody told me I have a sneaking feeling it's not actually going to work like they said it was. If it doesn't, I'll just delete the whole account. Somebody told me that apparently TikTok gives priority to new accounts as a way to try to like get you to stay around. Wait, then why me? I'm not even the in-carnival therapist anymore? Because you're queens. I don't actually remember why. I don't remember why. I work in mysterious ways, okay? I work in mysterious ways. Let me get out of the way and I can give y'all's game. After I also do... Huh, guess I never set this up. Doink, that's not the right direction. I also genuinely don't know why it's black. So why is it like that? Where did the fat black little things come from? We'll just leave it like this. We'll just leave it like this. This is fine. All right. Mysterious, no big dork. It's called Mysterious Ways, Queens. Mysterious Ways. Bort. I know you enough to know what I said. Sure. Listen, I give people VIPs when I feel like it. And then I take them away at another point where I feel like I need to give somebody else a VIP. And I look at my VIP list and I'm like, I don't think this person's been around here in a while. Bye-bye VIP. This is where I would polish my gym if I had one. Hey, to be fair, if we get partner, it doubles the number of VIPs we get. We get like, I think it goes from like 35 or 30 to 70. Nah, I've seen you. You question a lot. I don't care how fathomless your darkness is. The heart of darkness is a goober. Yeah, why not? I can be a goober and malicious. Just ask most D&D characters. Shush, that was a secret chat. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, that was a little close, chat. Oh goodness. You also didn't get the big word. That's uncommon. All right, we still got 30 seconds. So we want to do another round? Nah, we'll not do another round this time. Oh goodness. I'm sure you'll want to get to the game, right? Totally. Actually, here, let me get a little bit lower. Maybe a little bit smaller too. Okay. Because this game is gorgeous and I don't want to like cover too much of the screen if I can help it in this one. What those arms sound missing? All right. A one round kind of ringleader? I only need one round to knock your ass out. All right. Pause there. Stop the music. Listen to the ominous whinings of the universe, I mean the game. Do a quick glance over. What the hell? One Piece Gachapon quest? What the fuck? Oh no, did Discord make a virtual Gachapon game? Stop the boat! What do you mean, stop the boat? Also, what the fuck do you mean, I bet? Since no question came up, here's a random one. What are your most and least favorite marine organisms and why? Okay, my favorite is the cuttlefish. Because for God's sake, have you seen the cuttlefish? My least favorite is the sunfish. That motherfucker is useless. It's plush. Thank you for doing your season pass. Bum 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 ba-dum. Bum bum bum. Bum 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 bum. Holy shit, dude. 3 years. Over 3 years. All right. Chat. Are we ready? I'm kind of scared, actually. I'm a little scared. It's getting to me now. Whew. Okay. Okay, we're definitely good. Casual. Suspense accomplishments, the standard difficulty found among modern Resident Evil games, can be changed to casual in the game over screen. Game over screen. Oh, interesting. Recommended for long-term fans of the series. Auto saves during Grace's playthrough are limited and ink ribbons are required to save. I don't want to do the ink ribbon thing again. Leave my stupid flatfish alone. It has no brain. It has no brain. And it just lays 30,000 eggs. Are kin to training cats and dogs? Aww. Wait, I can see the edge of those shadows. Oh, I can't change the settings in a cutscene. Ah, damn. Vampire squid from hell? What the vampire squid's so cool? Unidentified disease. Is it bad that from behind for a split second, I thought he kind of looked like Mr. Door from Alan Wake? Oh, hey, it's the founder. It's Oswald Spencer. Oswald Spencer. Prohibition of oh, no. Oh, no. The U.S. is going to make more bioweapons.
Grace. Grace.
Wait, that was not the way she was sitting in her chair a second
Grace
ago.
Ashcroft.
Yes?
My office.
Oh, coming.
Look at the fucking files, man. She's deep in it. Okay. Now I'm pretty sure we did get to see the scene in like one of the first trailers.
It'll be ready in 3. No, 2 days.
What will we do? Also chat freely from the ceiling? No, you're staying on the ceiling.
We found another body. One that exhibits the
six?
same pathology as the others we've been investigating.
Also, let me know if you need me to turn this up, chat. Certified girl mess? She's my favorite. Right after Jill.
I need your eyes on the crime scene.
Everybody knows Jill is the best character in the game, in the franchise.
Look.
Yes, right above Leon. I will fight you on that one.
Murdered. And I know it'll be upsetting.
Jill isn't a girl mess. I'm just saying the best characters.
Alyssa died 8 years ago. Perhaps it's time for you to face the past. Confront that fear head on. Grace.
Also, the t-shirt and blazer is kind of a funny combination.
I won't force you to go. But do you think you can do this for me? Investigate that crime scene and report back to me with your findings.
Jill personally licks Wesker's ass? Kicks? Oh, kicks. Okay. I was about to say, she was mind controlled, first of all. Casual Friday, but not that casual. I mean, it's pretty casual. She even had the sleeves rolled up on the blazer. Grill 14. Meatloaf burgers and steak. Average American city. Okay, wait, no, this is a major city. This definitely looks like New York. Because that's, I don't think that's 16th Street subway, but it's a major subway that looks like that. Hi, totally not Mr. X.
Sorry.
You think that was an Easter egg? Do you think they dressed him up to look like Mr. X? Grace Winwood. Oh. Okay, hold on. Oh, wait, where's he going? He's going the other direction. Options. Toggle. Actually, yeah, that's fine. So where is... mouse and keyboard? Recording. Key configurations. Where do I change sensitivity? In first person or third? They said Grace's was more likely to stay in, it's better to stay in first person for Grace. So we're gonna try it a little bit, and if I really don't like it, then we'll do something else. Actually, maybe I should change it. Camera wobble? Hell nah. Okay, maybe low. But where would, I figured it would be under controls, wouldn't it? It has to be something you can change. There's no way it's not. Accessibility? Visual accessibility, motion sickness, physical accessibility? Radical deceleration. Definitely not gonna be network. Really? That's fucking crazy.
To the macabre halls of the Dark Carnival. And please,
Thank you for the work, Woozer.
enjoy the show.
Hi, Pippin. Welcome in. How was Helldivers? You have a good time? What trouble did you get into? Did you burn anything down? Did you break anything? What shit did you explode? Let's see. That's crazy. There's no way. Okay, hold on. Resident Evil Requiem. Change sensitivity. Options, camera. Okay. It was tucked away in the separated thing. Going into the menu. Shut up, Sunstar! That doesn't feel like it changed anything. Oh, come on! Here, Chad, just to show you how bad this is. Here is my full sweep. That's 1. I have to pick up my mouse, move it again. 2. 3. That's fucking 3 sweeps to do a 180. It's gotta be something else. I think you're right. Oh, that's when aiming. I'm an idiot. Sunstar, kick my ass for me.
can't spread over every egg.
Seemed pretty obvious to me. I'm going to strangle you. Okay. Okay, that's quite a bit better.
Should be around here.
Where you going, buddy? Why are you looking at me? Havana Time Limon, Pale Ale, Golvey Beer. I swear I know this song. Candy, Deli, and Grocery. The Barber Shop, Gentleman's Styling.
Did you hear Eric was promoted? That asshole? What the hell are the managers thinking?
Sorry. Also, hold on. I need, where is it? Subtitles. Yes. Sure. I guess that just doesn't HUD. I honestly figured that was gonna take me to the fucking subtitles on. Okay, yeah, I kind of do want that on. Can I make you like yellow? Yeah, yellow's better. I'm fine with no background, actually. Okay. Because my hearing is stupid, and if I can't read... Oh, hello. Missing. A couple, that's been here long enough to be partially torn off. And then some older woman. Halloween Spree Rock Music Festival. $75 on a October 31st and October 2026. Damn. Okay, so are we like in the future? Ah, yes. Dingo Red Cigarettes. Honor in front of these premises. Cool. Well, did we find the crime scene? And there's nobody here guarding it? Ooh. How old would Leon be at this point? Leon is in his 50s?
Hey, that's a restricted area. You can't go in there.
She's as jumpy as I am.
Why?
It's an active crime scene.
Oh, right. Sorry. Just a sec.
49? He's 49 right now? Okay. I was gonna say, because he was a rookie in like 1999.
Yeah.
Investigating all these strange deaths, huh? Mm-hmm. It's the 5th one now, right?
6th.
I heard they all have the same weird bruises. So you think it's something infectious or terrorism or... Why else would the FBI be
Wait.
investigating, right?
Oh no.
Hey, are you with me?
Oh, there
See, this is what happens when you get somebody who has extreme anxiety but extreme autism and no people skills, aka the perfect FBI agent. Did y'all just leave the body here? How long has the body been sitting here?
In there. Whole building's condemned. Word is they're finally gonna bring the whole place down.
Yeah.
God, the details on that man, though. How smooth that mocap is. Doing Resident Evil 2? Gotcha. I was gonna say, he was probably early 20s in there. Distant police siren, please and thank you, captions. Well, I mean, this is an alleyway. This is
Why am I even here?
Because you walked here, that's why. Okay, it's set on toggle right now. God damn it, Grace. You're gonna get me scared. Your anxiety is giving me anxiety. Also, why is this shit so deep? And ooh. Oh. Wynwood Hotel. Hmm. Okay. I don't like this. Wait, what does that say? Visitors, please use front door. Okay. We really are, like, really wobbling. That shit's dark, yo. Oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. Shut the fuck up. Everything is awful. Christ. That looks like it was on fire. Let's go spooky times. We haven't even gotten to the point where there's monsters involved.
I can't. Let's do it. Come on, mate.
Please, nothing jump through that fucking window. Just because it was being blown away by the winds. It was the fact walking into a condemned building and it being completely pitch dark in there. And this being a Resident Evil game, so the constant inflection that something horrifying could happen any second is always there. Okay, so they said Elisa before died 8 years ago. Is that her mom? Oh, check the items you acquired. Items from the item menu, examine them. I report the details the unexplained. Okay, can I? Oh! Submitted by Special Agent Kyle Eames. Overview, September 28th, 2026. 11:20 p.m. The body of a man was found in an abandoned hotel in the Midwestern city of Wynwood. How was it discovered? Body was discovered in the hotel. Well, that answers my question. In the hotel restroom, based on the level of decay, suspected to have been there for several days. Only days? How long has the hotel been abandoned? Prior to the incident, multiple cases of similar mysterious deaths have been reported in locations across the United States. That's a lot of blood. H. Ramirez, 59, pronounced dead at Stoneville Hospital. E. Wilkins, 51, pronounced dead at Hotel Dunbar. K. White, pronounced dead at Green Oak Apartments. M. Warren, 90, pronounced dead at Night Valley Nursing Home. Also, look at the sores next to the mouth. Been confirmed that all the identifying victims were survivors of the Raccoon City incident. Oh. Oh, that's worse. Victims' bodies all had extensive black bruising. Okay. Oh, thanks. I hate it. Oh, sir, come on. Footsteps. Yeah, those are definitely boot prints. Stop!
Looks like you ran afoul of something with wicked claws.
Claws. Oh. Oh. Oh, no. Fuck. Great. Great. I ain't going in there. Over my dead fucking body.
What do I do?
Head to room 204. Well, I guess that decision's been made for me. Y'all hear that?
Oh
Take-
my God!
Shut up!
What's the procedure? Stay calm! Wait. What are you calm
Claw marks. God fucking. Is that me? That looks kind of like me. Mm. Mm. Worms. No. 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 Already? Okay. No. Nope. Can't actually do anything with it. I can just look deeply at the worms and poo.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Something is dripping, and I don't think I'm willing to deal with it. Okay. So this is what zombie excrement looks like? Extreme amounts of parasites, apparently. All right, guess we're going to 204. That's ominous. Yeah, those curtains have definitely been eaten by moths. Hello? Jesus Christ. Stop. Ranwood Hotel has been welcoming guests from all walks of life since opening its doors in 1928. Experience the warm embrace of nearly a century's worth of history along with Wynwood's time-honored traditions. Great. Fantastic. As if I needed more reasons to understand that fucking people were here. That safe is broken as fuck. Hello? That doesn't bode well. Oh, hello. To all employees, following the recent incident, management has been working hard to restore public trust. Unfortunately, due to the extent of the damage, it is unclear if it'll be possible to reopen. Consequently, it'll be a great regret that we must announce the official closure of the Wynwood Hotel. We apologize greatly for the impact this may have on you and your families and wish to extend our heartfelt gratitude for the support and hard work you've brought to the long-standing business. Which I'm guessing is the fire. Worth it. Give me that fucking floor plan, dude. Okay, so we're on the first floor. We're in this office. Upstairs. That takes us here, I imagine. So 204 is all the way around. Okay, yeah, because we came from the lounge bar. Came through the kitchen. Did we come down a hallway? Yeah, I guess we did. I guess we did come in from here. No. well. Okay, there it was. Okay, that is the hallway.
Step inside.
It's just there was like no doors for the ballroom and stuff that's apparently over here. It means it got crapified recently. Yeah. Actually, hold on. There wasn't a year on this paper, was there? No, it doesn't have a year. Thing is, though, is this bed is like covered in stuff. There's these massive fucking needles here. All right, let's go, baby girl. We're in this together. I'm sure that's totally not going to start playing music. Fuck me running. Go up the stairs, Grace. A wooden bowl? Definitely can't go in there. Pool table? Well, it looks like it's supposed to be a pool table, but it literally has no holes for the balls. So I guess it's something else. Exit. Oh, of course. Of course it needs a key. Drugs. More drugs with smaller needles. Oh. Oh, that's... Wait, are her eyes... No. One of her eyes looks like it's almost like the biohazard symbol. Oh, what the fuck? It's literally twine. All right, what did we miss? Of course, the toolkit. I looked right. Why did I get so... Hey, ew. Nasty taxidermy. Locking emergency exits is illegal? Correct. But this is also a condemned building. Hello? God, it's gnarly in here. See, that's an ice cream woman like thing in there. Okay, hello? October 19th?
What?
Is that Elisa? I think that is Elisa. Hello, turlets. Hello? Okay, if I open that curtain, chat, and something scares me, you better not laugh. How was Regan? Well, yes, it was a really good game.
What's your pleasure? What's your fear?
Oh, thank God. Okay. I ain't going towards that radio yet. Oh, I can go over there. Cool fireplace. Guess that's it. Okay. Okay, there's got to be something else. Oh, there's something. Get scared easy? It's not that okay, I do get scared easy on occasion. It's just that right now we're in the middle of like all of the things that terrify the fuck out of me. Tight corners, very kind of janky controls right now. What are we loading? We're on a loading screen. Flashback? Flashback. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Anne,
Hi, Mom.
you have been on that thing all
Wait, this is the hotel room, isn't it?
You're gonna work so late.
Get some sleep, eh?
I'm almost done. Just a sec.
This is the hotel room we're in.
What you always do?
At least it seems like it. Yeah, that's the fireplace in the back. Hi, Ash. I'm shitting bricks.
Coming down hard.
And I haven't even gotten to the first Leon part. Dark corridors, small rooms, mildly janky controls.
Hello?
Miss Ashcroft?
Yes.
That's not good. That's very much not good. Because that just means somebody's confirming to make sure that a Miss Ashcroft is Ashcroft is there.
Hang up on me. Rude. What the?
All right, fire exit time.
They're coming. Grace, we need to go.
Go where? Mom, what's going on?
Hurry.
Flashlight?
Wait, who's coming?
The tiny mag lights.
What's wrong?
We need to keep our voices down.
This is ridiculous.
Come on.
I was gonna say, if somebody called me, gave me my last name, and was like, and I said yes, and then
Tell
hung
me what's
up,
going on.
my ass is fucking out of there. I'm gone. Like, you want to see how fast a motherfucker can leave a fucking location? There's no... Okay, it's a gun. Okay, never mind. I was like, there's no key. Oh, no. No.
Stay close.
I just get to watch my mom be a badass. Oh, no, this is the worst. What is a pool table? There's no fucking holes in it. Eric's right here. Don't have a key.
I'm coming.
Grace, hurry. Keep moving.
I'm sprinting as best I can. Apparently, this is me holding shift.
Hello? Who's that? Oh, I'm so sorry about the power outage.
What happened?
He's about to get jumped. They're framing this like he's about to get fucking jumped.
It's 40 years old, so it doesn't take much to trip it. It's really no excuse, and I apologize for the inconvenience.
Oh, no.
We know the office is back there.
I should have it fixed soon. I just need to find my...
Shoot him! fucking Grace not even backing up.
What the hell, Mom?
No, Grace. No.
Get away from that fucking glass window.
Stay close to me.
There is too much darkness behind her. I think I need to turn up the brightness.
Can you tell me what's going on?
I feel like I need to turn up the brightness.
Mom, what are you doing?
Something important.
Oh, I can't change the settings right now. Oh. Is that the fire exit key?
What did you hide behind that painting?
I'll explain later. We need to find another way out.
Shit. So we're gonna get snapbacks.
Grace, come on.
We're gonna get brought back, and we're gonna have to remember that she stuck that back there before the fire.
Come on in, Grace.
I'm calling the police.
Turn up my flashback, Lamal.
Hello? Yes, I want to report a murder. No murders.
Grace.
Yes. The Redwood Hotel. Yes. Hurry, please. The police are on their way. Oh my god. Mom, I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
Are you having an asthma attack? Oh no, she has anxiety and
Grace,
asthma.
look at me. Grab my hands. Okay, look at me. Look at me.
That's called a panic attack.
And out. Breathe in.
Don't turn up the brightness, coward. Fuck.
Oh, Grace.
In Resident Evil Outbreak? I figured she was important in some way.
Explain this all to you one of these days.
Too bad that's not gonna happen.
Grace. Please know that you are my.
You know, I was talking about how great the mocap faces were earlier with like the cop
What are you talking about?
that came to help us for the crime scene, and now I'm really suspecting
I love you too.
the mom's mocap face is not that great.
Mom, I'm scared.
No. We need to find a way out of here now.
But we don't have any of our stuff.
We can come back for it later, Grace.
It's just stuff, Grace.
I don't.
Well, how the fuck did he sneak into that room anyway?
Found you.
Oh. Okay, you know what? I can see why a person may not be able to get over it. Damn, that's a rough rookie day, kid. Listen, kid, I know grief sucks, but also at the same time, how extra crispy do you want to be? And how much am I gonna have to fight for my life to get back downstairs now? Yeah.
so sorry. This is not my fault.
I do wonder who that man was, though. Miss Ashcroft? It's gonna be the same question, isn't it? It's gonna be the same question. That phone does not look like it's actually powered on. Oh, it wasn't that phone that was ringing. That's why it didn't look like it was powered on.
Who is this? I need to get out of here.
God damn it, dude. God damn it.
Something important.
Yeah, the painting. We're going to the painting. Thank you for hinting at the painting again.
Where did you hide behind that painting?
Yeah. Hello? I don't think that window was... Oh, it's broken. Okay, never mind. Like, I don't think that window was blowing earlier. Okay, that was just a bull. I'm so fucking jumpy with how dark this hotel is. If I knew this wasn't a Resident Evil game... If I knew this wasn't a Resident Evil game, I would be far more thrilled by just like the appearance of the hotel and the shit that's in it. But it's dark. Stop. Wait, what are you? Oh, it's just the poster. If I get fucking jumped. A bag? That is not what she put back there. There's no way in fucking hell that is what she put back there. Work is settled September. Okay, this is 2018. So yeah, that's 8 years ago. Work is settled down. We're heading to a new town the day after tomorrow. I'm thankful my freelance work allows me to work anywhere, but I'm worried about Grace. It's difficult for her to make friends. We're constantly on the move. Maybe we can spend a little more time in the next town. October 18th. Finished some research and stopped in a cafe where I noticed a hooded man. I could have sworn he was watching me. Maybe I'm just being paranoid. I saw that hooded man again. He's definitely following me. We only just got here. But I think we should move on. I can't let anything happen to Grace. A diskette. I heard footsteps. Hi, officer.
Sorry, officer.
Uh-oh. No, that's bad. Something's wrong. He got poked.
Stone me.
Are you okay?
Fuck, I've seen this cutscene.
What do I do?
Yo, can I have that shotgun? I'd very much like that shotgun. Teeth falling out. Those are big teeth, my guy. And we got stuck on the fucking coat thing. Are you serious? Ooh.
Wait! What are you doing?
Ow. Oh, a key. Fire exit key. Hell yeah, dude.
Get away! Get away from me!
I'm clicking. I'm clicking.
Oh, shit! Stay away!
Am I on the stairs? Did I get pushed all the way back to the stairs? That doesn't bode well. Yep, I am on the stairs. Come on, Grace. God damn it, Grace. Grace! You fucking useless bitch! Get him in the neck! Get him in the neck! That's right on the street, isn't it? Yeah, that doesn't... Decisive Strike DVD style? Kind of literally.
Me!
You gave me a chance, I would take it.
Okay. Can we leave? What are your thoughts on the U.S. state of North Carolina? Boo. Boo. Power's on. And there's music playing. I can't actually hear it. Thanks, captions. That's actually very important to me. Even my mage campaign is taking place in North Carolina. North Carolina's kind of meh.
Is anyone there?
I don't think North Carolina's even top 10 in anything. Okay. Yes, hello. I swear the boot sounds on her are like out of sync to my mind. Like when I expect to hear like her boot step, it doesn't happen. It happens later, which makes me think it's fucking somebody else. Hi, Bucky. Yeah, she is. She do be bleeding. Hi, Hollow. Strange. Definitely not Outlast Trials helmet.
Hello?
That's our hooded man, isn't it?
Easy. But after much effort, here we finally are.
Who are you?
I'm the one who planted that body. I'm the one that brought you here.
Yeah, I kind of figured that.
Now that you're the one that I've been searching for.
And you're huge!
The special one. The chosen one. Miss Ashcroft.
She also doesn't actually turn the lock there when she tries it. He has a snake eye ring. Also, that ring is huge. Shaq, is that you? Who makes a ring that size? The grill? The chains? I have several questions. I feel like the snake eye also means something. Is it time? Is it time for the meat and potatoes? Elbridge, a few minutes earlier. Elbridge. Elbridge was... Wasn't Elbridge one of the locations of the bodies?
Talk to me.
The, like, fourth body?
Well, same black blotches.
And it's not post.
There he is. There's our boy.
There's our man. There's our boy.
No, this is different. That's 6 now. 6 survivors of Raccoon City, all dead from the same thing.
Yeah, that's not good.
No. No, it's not.
And there's the Porsche placement. Ignore the Porsche placement.
But I have something for you. The team has settled on a person of interest. Someone with ties to Umbrella.
Also, the snakeskin coat's kind of baller, not gonna lie.
Who is he?
A former T-virus researcher.
Who has definitely infected himself with the T-virus.
I just got a report of a missing police officer. It might be unrelated, but he disappeared near where the 5th body was found. You there, Leon?
Yeah. I'm here.
I feel like that was supposed to be a reveal in some goofy way, but at the same time, like, every person who played a Resident Evil game is just like, that's our boy. That's our fucking boy.
Check it out.
Well, yeah, it's the Requiem. And that's a Porsche. Fun fact, chat, you can buy that Porsche. They released a special edition Resident Evil Porsche for this game. That's why it's in the game. Oh, there's the drugs and cosmetics we walked past. And there's our man. Also, I think what I'm going to try to change when we get the chance is I think I'm going to turn off all of the, like, acceleration, de-acceleration.
You've got to be shitting me.
He's right there. We found our man. Wow, buddy. Eye contact. And I looked at him, and he looked at me.
What's going on? Is she okay?
Oh, she's fine. I'm just taking her home.
Ooh. Ooh. Watching other people do that, I never realized that the darts actually made like a sound. I don't like that. Okay, so whatever he's injecting them with obviously is infectious to everyone, not just
I'm going after Victor.
Raccoon City survivors. All right, hold on a second. Options. Back to controls. We'll change both of them. Turn these down to like fucking nothing, dude. Fucking nothing. Although I'm gonna turn these up. because like the acceleration deceleration is kind of cool because it gives like a natural feel to things, but it kind of sucks when I'm trying to like when things speed up and slow down.
Never.
All right, let's go. Where'd our lady go?
Whoa. Hey, what the hell, lady?
Help me!
You okay?
Oh God.
What are you doing?
Have fun, scaredy pants. Fuck you, queens. I do think one thing that's weird about this, like, infection. Oh, Jesus. Staying down?
Yeah. He's the one to thank for all
Staying
the
down?
excitement.
Okay.
Excuse me.
They're in the crowd, aren't they? He dropped ammo. Don't mind if I do. Uh-oh. You've got a crowbar there, buddy. How are you not being hit? Okay. Wow, these... Oh, okay. Hi, old buddy. Honestly, I think that was he was supposed to throw that at like. Oh, hello. Whiff.
Let's make this quick.
Oh, hi. Where the fuck did you come from? Go ahead, get up. You haven't got up. All right, buddy. We good? Oh my God. Damn, you are really tall. Wait, what was that? There was another F. You? Oh well. I guess I'm going this way. Oh, cutscene. It's a beauty. It's fun. That was like gorgeous shots.
No, I lost him. Back to square one.
Not necessarily.
I mean, you know he's in the city.
Victor purchased a building after Umbrella went under. The Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center. I'll send you the address.
Do you think those are the bruises? Those feel like they're the bruises that people were talking about. Like it's maybe an illness that was like spread over Raccoon City, maybe. And Mirren says she wouldn't be good at FPSs. I like playing FPSs. Oh, hold on. We got ad break. All right, after this loads in, I'll pause it. Oh, goodness. All right. Real quick. It won't let my mouse go. There we go. All right, chat. I'll give you words. And I am going to go stand up and stretch for a minute. I'll also give you all the music. And we'll be back to the game in just a couple minutes. Have fun, kids. All right, kids. What'd I miss? Who died? Well, I guess the people I shot in the head. I guess those people are in fact all dead. Even so, I could vor. What the? Just somebody was immediately looking for Vord. Wait, was that actually a word? Was Vord a word this time? I swear it's been a word before. From word, Leon. Listen, I think we actually get a Grace moment. I think the next major part is Grace. All right, Metallica, back to the background with you. It's Resident Evil time. It's upside down time. Holy shit, the details on the skin. Dather, Leon, what? It's father, and you will get it right. Also, I'm not gonna lie. I have several questions about the... Okay, so her chest is bandaged for some reason. I genuinely don't know why. She was only bit on the arm. But I'm guessing she's upside down to try and get the whatever medicine is in the IV to pump to her head. No, wait. Oh, he's feeding out her blood. Okay. That's why. As much blood without basically killing her is what I'm guessing. Because then it means that at least her heart and brain will be pumping the longest. Also, do they usually use glass containers? Also, that is a interwoven fucking fabric restraint. There's no way in hell that glass jar can cut that shit. I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on that one. Please don't just tear it straight out. Okay, I think she tore it backwards instead of straight out. Again, girl, just a little bit of core workout here, and I think you could have just untied your feet. Ooh, I'd be scared of snapping my legs in this fall, dude. Yeah. Yeah. The glass is stronger in Raccoon City. I don't think we're still technically in Raccoon City yet. Also, nice fucking watch. Okay, there's too much details in that watch for that also not to be a product, right? Right? Click. Begin blood extraction. Check pulse. No abnormalities. Administered Dexafil. Condition stable. Ready for further examination. Okay, so we are at the Chronic Care Center. I did notice that on the paper. Nope, absolutely not. Fuck. Children under 14 years old are only permitted to visit patients with prior arrangement with the head nurse. Special visits outside of normal visiting hours may be scheduled in advance. Also, that said banging. We're gonna go this way first. What was that sound? Y'all heard that, right? Those weren't my footsteps, right? You know what? Let's just go. Oh no. Oh no. Fuck. Okay. I really don't think I want to be going into any of these rooms. And the fact that they're letting me turn on lights and stuff is deeply concerning. Emergency protocols? Oh, fuck. Yeah, because of course it needs a fuse. I don't have a flashlight. Cherub key. Cold to the touch, heavier than it seems. I mean, it looks like it's porcelain. Also, do I... No, I don't. Okay. Why is it swinging like that? Hello? Oh, hey, save room. Okay. I'm getting anxiety here. Empty bottle. Faint medicine smell. Smash and draw the attention nearby when thrown. Oh no. Oh god. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this fuse. And something's going to happen, isn't it? All the power's gonna go out, isn't it? You don't, it doesn't give you a lighter next to a fuse box. Fuck. Oh no. Screwdriver? Shit. Should have known. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. So yeah, that oh god, there's another fucking hole there. Hello? Fuck. Shadow Ghost? Harriet Jones Shadow Ghost. Am I really reading a picture book? Have you seen the Shadow Ghost hiding in the dark? You know you're gonna scream a lot. Fuck! Have you seen the Shadow Ghost staying from the lights? Have you seen the Shadow Ghost because she's been... Fuck. Stay in the light. Okay. Just the lamp. Just the lamp. Just Seth, I've moved some items out of the closet. The screwdriver is now in the toolbox in the nurse's station. The sewing kit is, and the text is all blurred out. Okay. We're gonna need the sewing kit later, aren't we? I just heard somebody cough. Ugh. Let me double check. Okay. Okay. He's definitely dead. Please don't bite my hand. Also, hold on. I gotta sneeze. Okay, I think I'm good. That's the FBI intuition. He's dead. Well, yeah.
Infected.
Well, duh. I think we found the shadow demon. Yowie hands. That ain't Yowie hands. I can't see shit. Oh, fuck me. Get up, Grace! Hello? Grace, crouch! I don't think I got it. I don't think I got it. Did I? I think I did. Oh, no. Are you serious? Grace, get off! Oh, come on! Nothing!
Don't come any closer!
Oh my god! Okay, I guess I need to loop her again, but I don't think I can get past her. I seemingly also have no dodge button. So that's also an entirely different thing. Is she gonna come down? She's definitely coming towards me. Close the door. Okay. How do I check? Oh, tab. Okay. Getting her ass kicked is wild. It's kind of funny. So it's gotta be in that station. It's just, I guess I missed it. Or I need to like search that doctor's pockets. I hear her. Thing is though now is we're gonna have to deal with the hurdy hurt right now. Because we don't have any more recovery items. We only had the one. Good Lord, Grace.
Step inside, step inside.
What the hell was that thing?
Horrifying is what it was. Please and thank you. Medicine injector. Hell yeah, dude. Fuck.
This looks important. Or maybe.
Oh, come on. Is it you? Can I search you? Oh, there it is. Can't reach it. Oh, duh. Is that close enough? Oh, I hit right click instead of left click.
Yes.
Okay. Fine. Fine. We're totally fine. Just need to get back to the save room. Grace, I swear to Jeebus. I'm kind of scared to find out that the lamps that we've turned on around the place are not actually like bright enough to save us. But then I doubt there'd be a reason for us to be able to turn them on. Well, I think we're gonna have to deal with it when we go and get the like other what's it called? The fuse that we're going to get, because we needed the screwdriver to open the first fuse box. And we're gonna put the fuse in the thing so that we can get into the lighted section. Thing is though, is I swear I hear her on the other side of the door. Okay, what I'm hoping is that she will go back into the well, actually, I could use the bottle that I have. Maybe? Well, captions are picking her up at least, so that means she's coming closer. Please, Shadow Ghost Lady, go somewhere else. She is absolutely coming to the tea here. Bong? Jackie! Leon's not on screen. Keep it on topic, on topic. Is she actually only pacing that hallway? Oh my god, she is legitimately only pacing that hallway. Self-care hexagon. She's going back the other direction. What the fuck? Listen, as long as I can get into 202 and she paces back, it'll be fine. Nope. Put some pep in your fucking step, Grace. I am holding shift. Thing is, though, is she stops in front of 202. I don't have... There's not a dodge mechanic in this game, right? Keyboard, mouse, keyboard configuration. Nope, that's only ready melee weapon. Parry. I mean, maybe... I think it has more something to do with her eyes. Because it seems like the whole shtick is her eyes. I'm thinking maybe what I need to do is I need to aggro her and take her into there and just like loop her. Hi, ma'am. Yeah, I think she's deaf. Oh, there she is. No? Hi, ma'am. Ma'am. I desperately do not want to get close to her. She's fucking haunting, dude. Yeah, she like sniffs the air like that, but she literally doesn't react to it. You think I should just kind of go for it and just try to get past her? Because, like, she kind of leaves enough room. Oh, there she is. There's the trigger. Grace girl, you were going to give me a conniption. Why are you still sprinting? All right, we wait for her to come in. She lose us? Fuck, she did. No, she didn't. I think she's blind and deaf. But light, like, hurts her eyes. Fuck, there she goes. Yeah, I think she's blind and deaf, but the light hurts her eyes, so she doesn't go into it. Around, man.
Well, look at you.
I'm just glad she's not fast. Not gonna lie. Oh, she's very tall. She's a good 12 feet? 14 feet? She also has like really, really dog-like, well, feet. So, and yeah, she can't see me all the way back here, even standing in like the light of the window. Which genuinely, oh, here she comes. She turned all the way back around. There she goes. Grace, I swear to this is gonna get so annoying. I know it is. I know it is. I know Grace's fucking teen nerd ass like athletic ability is gonna be useless. All right, let's go. Grace! Grace! Oh my fucking god. Oh, you're fucking joking. Okay, I guess that's how that door gets opened. God damn it! Bryce! Jesus! I hate you! Grace! Move! Close the fucking door! God damn it! Now's not the time for that. Oh, great. I don't like big lady, especially when I'm playing someone who fucking can't even use her own 2 feet for longer than 6 seconds at a vague jog. And I know for a fact we're gonna pull that fuse and she's gonna drop out of that fucking closet. I bet that's exactly what's gonna happen. God damn it, Grace. God damn it. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to kill myself. Why? Why, game? Why must I suffer? Oh, god damn it, it's a cutscene. Yeah, because of course. Grace! Grace, I swear to God.
Come on.
Oh, wait, she literally sizzles. Okay, so she's definitely at least blind. You've got to be shitting me. Woman? Gonna be felt the next morning and decade? Oh, almost certainly. Thing is, like, the dude has already hinted that there's something special about Grace, some chosen one quality. No way in fucking hell is this the care center. This is in the USA. No care center in the US has ever looked like this. She runs like she has bricks in her. She runs like she has bricks in her pants. Mr. Kennedy.
There's our man. There's our man. There's our boy.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Oh, hi, ma'am.
Mr. Kennedy, welcome. Dr. Gideon has been expecting you.
Funny. I don't remember getting an invitation.
Well, he's waiting for you.
Can't have that, can we?
Follow
Nope.
me, please.
Lead the way.
Also, I swear I recognize her face. She's modeled after some actress. Can't put my finger on it, though.
So how long have you worked for, Dr. Gideon?
Not long. I just recently joined the team. Quite a few long-term patients here, all undergoing experimental therapies developed by Dr. Gideon.
Ooh, that doesn't bode well.
Mental therapies.
Yes. It's all very cutting edge.
That doesn't bode well.
Low profile due to the sensitive nature of the research.
Oh, I bet it does.
Okay, so why is everybody draped, you know? And all that.
Please wait here.
Y'all, I don't need to know how hard you fucking are for Leon Kennedy. Appropriate. Also, you can see the shit on his neck. Appropriate. There's eyes inside that skeleton. Oh no, that was a camera lens. To be fair, if I'm in a room with a skeleton, it's usually one of the first things I fucking look at. Is that lamp gonna explode? My God, sir. How do they not ask questions? Also, why would you take a stab photo looking like that? That's crazy. Also, you kind of let yourself go, buddy. When was the last time you took a shower? Oh, of course. There's another product placement.
All staff initiate emergency protocols.
Okay, that was the announcement that we heard when we first found the gate.
Mr. Kennedy, we need to leave immediately.
What's going on?
I don't know what's happening. Some kind of mass hysteria. The hospital is on lockdown.
Oh, God damn it. Where did he get a chainsaw? That's a utility chainsaw. That's not a hospital chainsaw.
I think I want a second opinion.
Ow, Jesus. Oh, of course they pick it up. Ow, motherfucker. Ow. He picked it up too, didn't he? So whatever the virus is that he's given these people has like some... It's gonna come charging at me, isn't it? Can I pick it up?
Nice.
That sounds like it's behind me. Y'all coming? Oh, okay, never mind. I just kind of insert it into people. Oh, hi! Jesus Christ, they did so good on these. Parried. I don't think it was actually parried. I am running out of ammo. Damn it. Come here, ma'am. Okay. I'm guessing the direction they came from is the way I need to go. Get out of the room. Okay, but now I'm curious. What's back here? Hello. Handgun ammo. Okay. It does also seem like it has a... Maybe useful to unlock that. Oh. You know what? That's one way to do it. Hell yeah, dude. What are you? Hunt us, seek us, find us, break us. Oh. Well, Mr. Raccoon's back. So that's interesting.
That bastard did it again.
Okay, hold on. Did I just hear the cube phone from Resident Evil 6? I swear that was the cube phone that, like, Ada uses.
Good. Good.
Cube phone.
Can you find me the floor plan?
I'll see what I can do.
Well, in the meantime, I'll try to track him down.
Keep me posted.
Will do.
Also, do I still have... I do still have the Rec Room. I just have no fucking ammo for it. Oh!
Come on!
You're telling me I was just standing here watching this happen? And then we get the sad cry thing, and then... Leon!
Hey, over here.
Oh, we're using the Requiem, even though we don't have any ammo for it. Thank God. Man, am I glad she's definitely not coming back for the rest of this game. The cube phone.
You okay?
Yeah.
Spare few pounds for cutscenes. He keeps an extra cylinder to swap out for cutscenes.
CSO. I'm Grace. Ashcroft. FBI.
FBI. What are you doing here?
Someone
I got kidnapped.
me.
Victor Gideon.
I don't know.
Well, we should leave.
Oh, come on. Oh, fuck. Welcome back to Resident Evil 1. Oh. Oh, we were still standing inside. Fuck.
What does Victor want with you?
What?
Grace.
What do you
He
mean?
grabbed you for a reason.
And he was literally standing at that corner.
Wait, you're DSO. That's the counter bioterrorism agency, right?
Take this.
You sure?
He might need it. Now go.
That's fucking crazy.
Get
She
out
can't
of here.
even run properly, dude, and you're giving her a gun that kicks like a rhino? Kicks worse than a rhino? Hi, Doctor.
She won't get away, you know.
Dr. Gideon.
So nice to finally meet you, Leon. Why don't we have a little talk?
Genuinely, I wouldn't. Okay, that's not actually going to be a talk. Damn it. I would genuinely, at one time in these Resident Evil games, love to see a moment where the main character and whoever the fucking like horrifying scientist dude is legitimately sit down and talk it out instead of it being like a goofy ass lecture.
Too slow.
And then he sees, there it is.
I see you're exhibiting symptoms too. Umbrella's curse.
So it was, I'm guessing it was something released by Umbrella. How many times is he going to choke out a main character in this game? Does have a better plastic surgeon than Mar-a-Lago? True. Although he doesn't really look like the kind to have gotten plastic surgery. He still has like basically the double chin. 11:42 p.m.
I'll be fine.
That's the 18th. That's at October 18th, right? The calendar we saw earlier was marked October 19th.
I hope.
Which makes me think he's planning something for midnight. Choked her Gideon. All right, did we actually get any ammo for this gun? We got one bullet, baby. You might need it. Is he telling me that I might need to kill myself? I don't have a melee weapon. Where's that red light, I wonder? Do you think the zombie got the chains? The chains from the gardener? No, probably not. List of patients. Can I read it? Doesn't seem like it. I mean, that list that named patients may actually have been useful, but okay. Oh, hey, okay, hold on a second. Is this an actual map? Administration offices, East Wing, West Wing, hospital wards. Offices? I'm gonna guess the offices are probably gonna be the safest bet, but seeing that there's a red light here makes me think that I'm not gonna be able to get in. Swipe card to unlock. Shit. Okay. That's locked. This is gated, but let's go see if there's anything just tucked into the sides up here. Mm-hmm. It's just donk. I walked forward and hit F to see if she was going to push it open. Didn't happen. That has a keyhole. But it's the cherub key. Oh, hey!
Come on, let's step into the macabre halls of the Dark Carnival.
Marty, welcome in.
And
How was your
please,
stream?
Well, look at you.
Seriously, look at him. And they just put this in a magazine? Oh, you were playing Requiem too. How far were you? Did you have a good time? I'm getting the shit scared out of me. Bricks for raiders? Oh no. They're residents and they're evil. No way. No way. You're lying. There's a doctoral resident and he's evil. But genuinely, look at this dude over my head. That's how he advertised himself looking like that. Quite a bit ahead. Oh, that makes sense. Transforming Lives Through Medicine. Chairman, Mitchell Bennett. Lead researcher, Anthony Richardson. Security manager, Luke Clark. Dignity of the Moon. Trust of the Sun. Serenity of the Stars. We're going to have a Moon, Sun, Star keys, aren't we? Okay, let's get my shit.
Pick some, I guess.
Medication room. Unauthorized personnel are not permitted past this point. In case of irregularities, contact the lead researcher immediately. In emergencies... Oh, it's cut off there. Okay, hold on. Who is the lead researcher? Anthony Richardson. Okay. Oh. Antique coin. Used for games. Can be exchanged for prizes in the parlor. Folders marked with recent dates. Damn it. Okay, does the antique coin... There's a limit to how many items you can carry. Okay, blah, 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 blah. You're going in there. All right. Save. I'm gonna guess if we go this way, it's gonna be closed. Oh, it's not! Am I gonna die instantly and horribly? I'm about to turn on a fucking light. That's a very normal man. Shockingly.
Oh, God.
Oh! Oh, no. How did the man have patience? Maxed out charisma and the character creator probably classed as bard. I mean, she is blind. Okay.
Who's there? Is someone there?
Were they trying to make another one of the lady?
I'm sorry if I surprised you.
Okay. I mean, they completely consumed her eyes.
Can you? Who are you? Was there someone in the other cell?
It was the big lady, wasn't it?
Everyone's gone.
Stay away from that!
Are you alright?
Get away!
Okay.
Oh, no. Hold on. No.
He doesn't look infected-ish. I can't tell. The like shiny part of the blood kind of makes it look like something's moving up his face. Oh, we got a card. Lead researcher.
I'm sorry.
Oh, we got a flashlight.
What is happening here?
But yeah, I am. Oh, okay. We did get the West Wing card. That's good. I'm gonna guess that the big lady that was upstairs, this was her room. Hold on a second. I need some water. I'm starting to think it is time for her to stop being. Do I dare open this? I can't. Oh, level 3? Okay, so we can't open these doors. She better not come back. I swear to God. Oh, wait. Blood everywhere. Skin's been gouged by something sharp. Huh. But I don't know. Okay, I have ideas, but I don't know what it means right now. The thing is, I don't think she was big at that point. I'm thinking she like mutated in the walls. At least that's what I'm thinking. All right, so we're going to the West Wing. Although, I kind of want to snoop for a second. Let's go upstairs. Like, that looks like it has inserts in it. Oh, it 100% does. Sun, moon, star.
This looks like it leads outside.
Okay. Is that what you're doing there? Do you not mutate in the walls? Do you do it in front of people? I don't know. That doesn't sound like a good... Oh, that's not a door. This was the way that Leon got cut off in. How indecent? Yeah, how indecent. It's common mutant etiquette. Okay, there's nothing up here for now. West Wing it is. Again, she jogs fine, but it's literally the second that you like throw her into a situation, she becomes useless. Like, I'm kind of scared to see how she's gonna behave if we run into like infected staff members in here. Even more so because we only have like one fucking bullet. Genuinely, if we had another thing. Oh, and of course it's not fully lit like the other rooms. We're gonna go this way. Oh, okay. I was about to say, you're not gonna open the door? Well, that makes me think we're gonna loop back around. Oh no, a situation in Resident Evil? Listen. Unicorn? Jesus Christ, it is the fucking... It's the first game all over again. Is that another... Is that a level 1 clearance door, it looks like? Yeah, that's a level 1. Oh, ad break. All right, chat. I need to run to the bathroom, so... Oh, that's not the right game. So I'm gonna get out the game, and we'll be back in a couple minutes. Ding dong. I see the ding dong. I bought one of your stickers because I want to put you on my e-reader case. Woohoo! All right. I'm guessing if it's stickers, then it was the VT Horizon stickers. Nice. Nice. All right. I'll be back in a couple minutes, kids. Have fun. Okie dokie. Sorry that took longer than it was supposed to, chat. I also had to go swap over my laundry. It's Wednesday, which means it's laundry day. All right. Miscounted the S. Rip. Rip. All right. Well, y'all finished that match. I didn't start the music. I am so sorry. Let me go check Discord for a minute. Okay. All right, we good? Levels over 17? Jesus. Y'all better not botch it on 17. Y'all better not botch it on level 17. Next ad break. Oh, wait, we may not have another ad break. Hey, chat, you want to play another round? Do y'all want to lock in and play a whole nother round? Is that what you want to do? Getting that last second guess? Do y'all wanna, again, I opened the wrong one. Do y'all wanna lock in and do another round? Yes? Yes? All right, we'll see. Listen, y'all did another perfect. That means you're jumping to level 17. It's about to get really hard. So you gotta focus up. All right, chat. Everybody in. Everybody in. Eyes up. Eyes up. Everybody focus on the game. Focus on the game. Ooh. Oh, shit. Wait, Tesseract? There's no way it's Tesseract, right? No, like, it couldn't be. No, it wouldn't be. Oh, shit. Oh, no. Now we're having a rough time. Now we're having a rough time. Oh, wow. We're having a really rough time. Oh, no. The smallest word is 5 words. Okay, so... operates? Eater. Overeats. No? Not vegan? Shit. Eat. No? Maybe it is. Thing is, those we don't. Wow. Oh, I did operates. I miscounted the fucking amounts. Damn it. What the fuck are the words? The fucking base off operates. The available letters were operate, not operates. Operate. Dan. All right. Got her ass beat by Scrabble? Yeah. Yeah. Also, oh, I didn't refill my water like I've been to. Okay, I'm out of water until probably the end of stream then. All right, let's put the music away. Hold on, let me check a thing. Okay. Back to the horrors. Wait, did we go through that door? Okay, no. Hey, yo, is that garlic bread? What in the fuck is that? What? Okay. But is this guy just infected or has he been like this for a while? No. No, come on, push! Grace, fucking push! Oh, you're fucking joking. Okay, makeshift knife. Right? Okay. Fuck. Yo, he's still coming. No. But why? Risk it for the biscuit kids?
Jesus.
Sorry, I'm listening for the chef. He stopped chopping. Okay, never mind, we're good. Ugh. Shit. She just came out of the bathroom, didn't she? That's another lock. Okay, no, this is the loop back. Okay. Okay, so that's our way back. Sorry for interrupting, boys. Okay, there's a normal... Got a normal gun. I did not get any ammo for it. Oh, shit. There was something on the ground right there, wasn't there? Oh, no, it was meaty stuff. Okay, he has the knife. There's another level 1 room. This place is fucked! There's another dude up there. Please be ammo. Thank God. Hey, buddy. Okay, 2 bullets. Hi, buddy. Oh, thank God. Oh, I just shove him. Okay. I was gonna say, he's definitely getting up. Can I melee attack? Okay, that'll work. Alright, a better knife. That works for me. How do I change the heart rate monitor? Can we refund that? We'll do it tomorrow. We'll do heart rate monitor tomorrow. Because we have less than an hour left. I'm sure this is totally not suspicious. Well. Damn it. It's useless, is it? Let's do... Oh no, I wanted to combine. Nice. Okay, I guess we're going upstairs. Yeah, if y'all had done it like an hour, at least an hour before now, I'd put it on, but we're only going to be able to go another hour. The folks took the day off today, so they've been around the house. But I didn't want to cancel Resident Evil Requiem. All right, where are we looking? Bar and lounge, kitchenette, office, and then that'll connect back. But we already know that that's blocked. All right, we'll go through the kitchenette. We'll hang right. Singing again. I'm guessing we're just over the, or maybe we can't. God damn it. Where's the control? Okay, that's where we sell the level 1 security points. Oh, that's the unicorn door. Oh shit, wait, we missed something. And then there's the bucket of blood for some reason. All right, let's go. It was like right around here, wasn't it? Right here? Yoink. Okay. It does kind of suck that we're a little limited on ammo. I guess I got a little cocky with that opening scene with Leon and like every other zombie dropping ammo. Let's go up one more. I just heard somebody gargling. Hi, ammo. 4 kind of sucks. Warped and won't open. Okay. Something tells me that's going to be a Leon kicks in the door moment. All right, let's go see if we can go into the, I guess it was the bar and lounge? Yeah, bar and lounge. Okay. This doesn't feel like a normal zombie. Shooter, are you sure? I have 4 bullets and there's multiple zombies in here. Yeah, she's the one that's singing. She's definitely a screamer. I don't think that's the case. Oh, I thought that was the save thing for a second. That's also broken. It's an open balcony. Ah, damn it. Okay, so these are simple locks, which makes me think there's like lockpicks. Hello. What are you? A doctor's handwriting. Shit. I have to get the hell out of here, but the whole building is locked down. I need to ask the chairman to get his quartz for me. I just heard another scream. My colleagues are killing each other. What the fuck is going on? Okay. Okay, this is the chairman's office. Fuck. Stop. Oh. Hmm. There are indents from writing. I guess I can't do this scribble method. It's Braille. You're definitely a puzzle, but there's also definitely somebody. Personnel change. New hires should promise at the dinner meeting last month. Have his clearance bumped up a level and get him set up to work on the project. Send the current researcher for processing while you're at it. Yeah, there's definitely a guy in there. Unicorn trinket box. Oh shit. Yeah. Okay, hold on. I keep hitting the wrong key.
A lovely gift from the beauty up front.
10 bits. Thank you, Hollow. Search the room for bullets. I'm working on it. Been clapping is learning the enemy. God damn it. Wait, they actually have the same durability? Huh. Well, we'll put you down for now.
Making the mother of all omelets here, Jack. Cast bread over every egg.
Ooh. All right. Well, we have that. All right, we'll fight him. Fuck it. We got 10 bullets. Hey, buddy. I took his pencil. I was trying to melee attack him. Are we good? Okay. Okay, so now I need room for the fucking pencil. Oh, wait, I have room for the pencil now. I just reloaded the 2 bullets. Okay. Oh, hello. Jesus Christ. I suspect that we will receive a visit from the DSO shortly. I want to enact Code 6 at 23:30. I've achieved my goal and no longer have any need for this place. V. Okay, that's Victor. So these people were at least, like, in on it. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Ooh, can I combine? Doesn't look like I can combine. All right, let's go use the pencil real quick. I do wonder what that is. That machine for the antique coins? I don't think it is. Okay. Moon, sun, star, moon. Moon, sun, star, moon. Well then. Okay. So we got 2 things from this room. That's good. Yeah, fuck it. I'll suck it up. Ammo's more important. All right, so now the question is, do we go back the direction that we just came from, or do we keep going forward? Well, okay, maybe we'll actually be able to open this grate from this side and we won't have to worry about it. A bitch. Seriously? It's always the thing that this game does is I wish it had a sometimes more satisfying. Wait a second. Oh no, this is right. Okay, yeah, this was the door that we couldn't open before.
I hate this place.
Okay, so let's go put the moon in.
Get out.
Just to fucking get rid of it. And then we'll go back the other direction.
Yes, I need 2 more.
Actually go save. Just in case. Save was through here, wasn't it? Oh, okay. I think that's what the cherub door means in this game. Is that the case? Are the cherub doors all gonna be save rooms? Okay. And we'll go use the prism. Which is that one? Has multiple outbreak powerhouse and special agent. Grace is just an unlucky woman. True.
Shit.
Oh, you're fucking joking. All right, where the fuck am I? Do I have to go back through the kitchen? Are you serious? Oh, those guys are aggroed. Ladies in the hallway now. Can I hide in the freezer maybe? Oh, nope, that's definitely locked. Please let me in.
Weird. How do people normally get in here?
That's a genuinely good question. Oh my god, close the door. There's an antique coin right there. All right, let's see what we can find from hints. Is that a hand? Oh, Eastwing card. Okay.
Oh, sorry about this.
You know what? Yeah. Is there 2 antique coins in here? Oh, this is the parlor. Duh. This is what you use the coins on. All right, hold on. All right. I'm also guessing is these are the prizes. Or do I just insert the coins? Matsuoka. Oh, okay. They have a certain cost. Four. I don't recognize what these things are, though. I imagine they're like permanent buffs. Okay, we haven't found the blood collector, whatever that is. All right, I'm going to aim for more inventory slots already. We have a third one in the box, so at some point we can go get it. But does this actually do anything? Is this just a hee-hoo funny? Oh yeah, the zombies in this one talk. Or at least the infected do. And they don't seem to be zombies. They seem to be living people infected with something. Wait. That's a red 7 again. It always stops on red 7. Let it ride. God damn it. Yeah, so I think it always lands on red 7. Okay, so what do we have right now? Key card. Here, we'll do this. Swipe. Swipe, please and thank you. All right. It was rigged. It's always rigged, but I think it's just a hee-hoo funny to like let you spin it. I don't think it's an actual mechanic, if you will. And then of course, double save. All right, kids. That's what we're gonna call it. That's what we're gonna call it. Just because it's a good time, instead of doing like maybe part of the West Wing, and then not being able to finish it. Methinks. Just like a casino to rig it against us. I don't know if it's rigged it against you because it literally takes you like 3 spins to realize that it always lands on red 7. And these people work here. They work at this hospital. So there's no way they didn't know. Yeah, Mando. It's okay. We'll be back tomorrow. We're literally going to be playing more tomorrow. But that means we need to find somebody to raid. Oh, goodness. I'm sorry about that. All right, chat. We are calling it a little bit early. I usually wait till after 4 or like right at 4 when I'm like avoiding the commercial break. But let's do... What are people doing? I genuinely don't know. Anybody doing anything spooky? Spooky Rose is doing Dark Tide. Sorry, I read a title that I think is really stupid. But Dead by Daylight. Kaya is still streaming really late, but that also probably means Kaya's ending soon. Okay. started my second playthrough on a higher difficulty. I mean, that makes sense. In this game, in Requiem, I mean, there's only 3 difficulties. I think we're going to rate Zoran. Zoran's doing Space Marine 2. Although, nah. We'll do Zoran. I just might playing Poppy's Playtime, but I'm not a fan of Poppy's Playtime at all. And I don't want to support Poppy's Playtime in any way, shape, or form, even if it is a homie playing the game. Zoran the Wizard. All right, is that targeting the right person? Oh, in the clear. All right, chat. I will see you guys tomorrow. We're going to play more Resident Evil Requiem. I don't know how long this game is. I'm just going to live under the assumption that we're like nowhere close to the end. Like we're probably barely at the beginning. Especially because these games just keep getting longer and longer. It did fall off hard. It's both falling off hard and just like, I don't like the route that they're going with the game. It's weirdly lazy, weirdly half-assed a lot of the time. And I don't want to condone them to doing like the chapter release type shit. I don't think game companies should get comfortable releasing chapters of a game at a time and making you pay for them. It's chase puzzle lore repeat. That makes sense. That makes sense. But other than that, guys, thank you for being here. Let's do the crime brulee. That was 1. That was not an exclamation mark. All right, kids. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being awesome. Thank you for enjoying the show. Go bully Zoran. He's, I think, dead in Space Marine 2. Oh, yeah. Respawn in 150 seconds. Jesus. But I will see you in a little bit. Stay out of trouble. Have fun. Good night. Go eat something delicious.